Okay guys, UFC 304, Arnold Allen versus Giga Chikadze. Now a lot of people say this is a banger fight. You got Arnold Allen, who is a well-rounded fighter, but you also have Giga Chikadze, who has plenty of stand-up game to match a guy like Arnold Allen. However, will he have the skill to match this top 10 featherweight? It's one of those matchups that makes UFC fans drool for sure, but in my honest opinion, it might not be as close as people might think. Yes, Giga has knockout victories over Barbosa and Cub Swanson, but the man has a unanimous loss against Calvin Kattar. And to me, I believe that Giga, though will bring the fire, is just too one-dimensional for a guy like Arnold Allen. Allen is more active, but he is still that featherweight contender who will still stay in the top 5, but struggle to get a title shot. I got Arnold Allen by unanimous decision. Muhamad MAV versus Manel Cap, and that's if Manel Cap actually decides to show up in this fight. And just for the possibility that he doesn't, let's first discuss the other possible replacements that could potentially fill in his spot when he pulls out. Brandon Royval. Seeing Brandon Royval versus MAV would be a pretty interesting matchup because it would be the way to get this undefeated warrior into a title shot, considering that Royval has some of the worst takedown defense in the division. Or even perhaps a matchup between MAV and Tyra, which would be even more entertaining. But of course, that is potentially if Manel Cap is indeed capping. But theoretically speaking, if he does stay in this fight, his only shot would be if he keeps it standing up. I feel like Cap's wrestling is just nowhere near on MAV's level, and I mean, the man's undefeated. And then on top of that, we just can't even remember the last time that Cap stepped foot into the octagon. So I got Muhamad MAV by unanimous decision. Bobby Green versus Paddy Piml. I kind of see this fight on paper like a really good fight, but I see it becoming probably a boring Ian Gary versus MVP type of fight, especially since it's 3 rounds. Like, I feel fights that have nice matchups should not be limited to 3 rounds because it's easy for the boring fighter to just spam his game like crazy and still a boring victory. I think no one has a clear striking advantage in this one, but if I had to choose, I'd say Bobby Green has the striking advantage. I think he has enough power to keep Piml at bay, but I think Paddy is one of those UFC stars that he will just keep edging out boring victories until he finally gets knocked out cold when he finally gets his title shot. I actually don't think that he can knock Bobby Green out, maybe by an early controversial TK stoppage or something like that, but I don't think he has that type of punching power, and I don't think he'll out-wrestle Green, but the UFC is low-key scripted, guys, okay? Piml will find a way. I have him winning by unimpressive decision. Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blaydes. Now, we all saw what happened in the first fight, but let's be real here. I think we all know what's going to happen in this one. Tom Aspinall should be able to do to Curtis Blaydes what he was supposed to do in their first matchup. I just don't see Tom Aspinall going anywhere lower in the heavyweight rankings, especially since he has nothing to worry about in regards to competition up to this point. Unless, of course, we have a certain someone who tries to dare to be great. With the home crowd cheering his name, probably even the star of this card, who the fans are really looking forward to seeing, I think that Curtis Blaydes definitely offers the potential to make this a entertaining fight for the first 90 seconds. But I just don't see a outcome where Tom Aspinall does not just hit him with one of those groundbreaking haymakers. If this was a Netflix original series, he is one of the main iconic characters in the story that is just bound to be a leading role in the next seasons to come. So I got Tom Aspinall by devastating round 1 knockout. And now the main event, Leon Edwards versus Belal Muhammad. A fight to heal my insomnia. Now, rightfully so, Leon Edwards, groundbreaking, historic, classic knockout of Kamaru Usman. Definitely a great technical fighter, one of the top pound-for-pound fighters deservedly so, probably won't be appreciated until we just recognize his classic moments in slow-mo, rather than having to watch him live on pay-per-view. And we could say the same about Belal Muhammad. Now, one thing I like about this matchup is both these guys are very humble. Both of these guys bring a similar energy into the cage where they're not necessarily looking for the knockout, but they're just looking for the win. And in my honest opinion, this might actually be Leon Edwards' most competitive fight in a while. But I still say that Leon Edwards has much to lose, and I don't think he's going to just lose his belt and give it all to Belal Muhammad, especially to give Islam Makhachev an easy shot at double champ status. So I'm going to give it to Leon Edwards by unimpressive, insomnia healing decision victory.